Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pit Talk, pulling pits and opinions with your host, Gunny G. Where service members help service members, period. Follow, like, subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts and on one social media platform, which is X. But I do have YouTube and Rumble. Let me know how I'm doing. Any criticism is good criticism. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right into it. We've got a special guest, comedian, in the presence of greatness, Mr. Matt. Let the listeners know where you're from, where you're born, where you're at now, and we'll get started. Hit it.
Okay, absolutely. I like how you didn't say my last name because it's a tricky one. No one wants to say it. It sounds pretty close to the worst possible racial slur. Nagin, my platform lean into the name. They're like, give it up for my Nagin. The white friends are like, Matt N-word, give it up for that guy. I'm not saying that. So, yes, it's good to be here on your Pit Talk Live. I don't even know what we're doing here, but this is a wild podcast you got going with military service. And thank you for your service, whatever you're doing over there or over here. I'm not sure where you're at, but I'm in Alabama now from New York. Okay, we all make mistakes. And just happy to be here sharing some chat with you. Your name's Israel, right?
Correct.
Israel. Okay, as a Jew, you're already on my side. See what I'm saying? You got the greatest name in history. All right, so
Shoot.
we're together at the Wailing Wall. I don't know if you go that way, but you got. I don't know if you got any. No, you got to know Hebrew in you, know, or
No, no, no.
no. All right, well, but maybe your family felt some tie to that Holy Land. No, I don't know. No.
Man, I'll tell you what, Matt. It's been a long time coming. We've had some definitely some friction points trying to get you on. And the reason why you were talking about your family, how are you associated with military? Like, do you support the military? What's going on there? And how does that work for you?
I'm actually not in the military, but I do have come from a military type family. I have a grandfather who was in Pearl Harbor. He was in the Navy. His aircraft carrier got hit, and half the men on there perished. He said he was sleeping on the lucky side. There was because half of
Yeah.
Nazis came. He just lucked out, sort of, and the ship went down and everything. So at least that's what I gather from what he tells me. Actually, had two that went down, I think, over time, and then another a grandfather was I forget what his rank. He was an officer, but I don't think he really. This is World War II. I don't think he really fought much. He mostly did stuff in Washington. He actually said he secured the first cryptography machine which they, decoded. They actually would seize it. I think IBM had it from companies at that time in World War II to decode the
Wow.
Nazi signals and stuff and use it for the military. So that they had authority to take anything from a company that could support the military apparatus. And he was
Yeah.
involved in that and a lot of other stuff. And my dad was reserves and stuff, but he never really saw action. But so yeah, I have some military in my history. I'm grateful for your service and what you do to defend us and keep us safe.
Absolutely. Thanks, man. I appreciate your support. Let's get right into what's your profession?
Well, I was working in education for a long time teaching, and now I do real estate and I do stand-up comedy, and is sort of my stand-up comedy, writing, acting, and all of that. So I'm kind of a jack of all trades, I guess, but that's my passion, the entertainment stuff.
And how's that going for you, Matt?
It's going well. I travel all over the southeast doing shows, doing comedy shows, different places. I'm gonna be up in New York area this summer. I'm going to some shows in Atlantic City at Tropicana at Resorts Casino, and I have books, so I do book festivals. I'm doing June 14th. I'm at not the plug, but at Impact Book Festival here, and I'll be doing a speech on humor writing. So they have different lectures coming up. So that should be
Okay.
cool. Yeah.
Look at you. Just jack of all trades, getting your name out there. How hard was it to get? Were you always a comedian?
No, I always was doing some kind of writing, and people pushed me into stand up, which was not my inclination. They're like, "You should do it. You should really try it." And I always was like, "No way, that's not for me." I didn't really like being in front of people. I like more like a behind the scenes, a little more introverted.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I just started doing it. I was terrible at first, and then I got better over time. and that sort of I just fell into it. I fell in love. The first time I did a whole routine about my elbow going in for a job as a substitute teacher. And let me tell you how badly it bombed. You could not imagine. Like, hey man, I want a job. And we're not in the habit of hiring body parts. Yo, that's discrimination against elbows. Yo, come back when you got a head and a torso. Like this for like 5 minutes, and the people are like, so just horrible. And this guy's like, "What are you talking to your elbow? What the hell are you doing up there, man? No one's in 5 minutes." And I didn't know anything. So like anything, if you apply yourself, you get better over time. You get more opportunities. And luckily now, I've headlined a lot of shows, and I've done bigger gigs. So it's been interesting.
That's good, man. I'm glad that it's being successful for you. And you're right. If you do apply yourself, you work hard at it, I'm sure there's fruits to your labor for sure. So you were never gonna be a comedian. Were you always a book writer too then?
Always enjoyed writing, at least since I guess about 18. You know, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about illegal substances.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. You're good.
You when I dropped LSD, that definitely. I thought I was Jim Morrison. I don't know if you ever seen the movie The Doors, but
Mm-hmm.
that opened my mind, and I'm writing poems and scribbling things on books, and I thought it was the most profound thing ever, but it was really like a shopping list, like buy avocados, and so it wasn't really what I thought, but it got me into it. And I was just interested in words. I was always a little bit, I taught 15 years, taught writing. So that was always my kind of my interest, the writing
Nice,
part.
nice. Who knew LSD had benefits to LSD, you know what I mean?
You have tried it, true. I don't know. Well, CIA dropped it on some MK Ultra. They kind of that's how you get some information out of, right. You got a Taliban hostage here, drop them.
Mm.
No, I think they do a
No, I
little.
don't think so. No,
No,
no, I don't think so. Oh,
I read that
that's it.
online. It might just be me. That might be me. I don't want to get in trouble.
Oh, you're good. So are you still teaching now or what?
I'm not teaching currently, but I did for a long time. Yeah, I'm here in Alabama right now. I got involved with a woman down here, and they moved down here. So yeah,
Nice. Tell me, what are some of like I'll tell you what, I appreciate you coming on. I like getting a different types of background, different type of people coming on, just not military, but military is my forte, obviously, because I'm military, right? But I got another comedian, what's his name? Derek Cahill. He came on a couple months ago. I don't know if you know the name or not, but funny dude. He came on too and just talked about small business, how his struggle, how the struggle was for him coming up with small business and then comedian, and then just like he was bombing the first one, had no idea what he was doing, and it kind of just started flowing in. Uh, as a comedian, right, from the very beginning to now, how has it flowed for you, and what type of what's it called? What type of material do you use normally?
right. What kind of material? Okay, so how's it float? Basically, there's a lot of ups and downs. The entertainment, it's I don't know, I think the military is much more regimented, and it's much more, okay, we deploy on August 2nd, let's boom, and we're out, and then it's going and bomb. But the entertainment industry is very herky jerky. If you were driving down the road, you'd be like, hey man, whoa, and then you got a cow on the road, and then there's a beetle, and then you're back and everything's cool, and you got some gigs and you're chill, and then the next thing you know, the cops are pulling you over and they're taking you down to county jail. So the point is, you got to roll with the punches with the entertainment, right? There's ups and there's lows, and sometimes everything's flowing and you're getting all these gigs and people are reaching out. Other times it can get quiet. So you're a bit of it like a juggler or something, and you're just trying to make it happen, and hit up your connections and get other gigs and keep the ball rolling. But there is a thing in terms of stand up where it's a lot. I mean, it happens in real estate too and everything. It's almost biblical. You reap what you sow. If you do well on your shows and the audience is happy, the owners are happy, then you'll a lot of times get asked back, and that'll lead to other opportunities or bigger opportunities. So of course there's that aspect to it. Just trying to do well, trying to make an impression. Even sometimes I've gone to open mics and just tried to do well at the open mic, and then they say, "Oh, hey, this guy's pretty funny. I'll put him on the show." So definitely it was a little challenge coming down here to Alabama because it's a whole other world. I have most of my connections from where I'm from, which is New York. So I had to start all over pretty much
Yeah.
because no one knew me here, and I'm a fish out of water, like a New York
Yeah.
Jew in the Bible Belt. There's not a lot of us. Right? They use us here as target practice, the horns and everything. So, but I fit in pretty well right now. So the people have actually been nice. I get treated better here than at Columbia University. So you know how it is real. And you're of Hispanic origin, obviously Garcia,
Correct.
right? Correct. Well, can I ask which country or
My family comes from Mexico.
Mexico? But I never heard of a man named Israel from Mexico. That's what was throwing me off. Is it just you like Israel, or do you know why?
So we're my family and all my extended family are Christians. We're all Christians. That's why.
Christian. Okay, very
Yeah.
good.
So
Very good.
that's
But
why
no
Israel.
Hebrew blood in there.
Yeah, maybe. I think we all have Hebrew blood, right? The
All
ID
right.
in
All
me
right.
says I'm black, like by 1%, and
All
you
right.
know,
Well, let's give it up for the hostages that were the Israeli hostages. Your name's Israel. That's pretty good. They were released.
yeah,
I'm supporting for that. And they really suffered over there, am I right? Because they had to go a year and a half without a decent bagel. That was rough as a Jew,
decent
you know,
bagel.
and then they made them watch Al Jazeera. What I saw was they were watching Al Jazeera all day. That's rough. That's and of any torture, that's the worst. So, uh, okay, don't. I hope I don't alienate any of your audience. But
Nah, you're good.
so I just throw little lines there. But thanks for having me on here. And okay, what's your next question? Go ahead. So.
Man, you're wild. I'll tell you with your material. Talk to me about your material. What makes the stand up? What do you use daily? Is it normal? Is it like day to day? What is it that comedians do, or what is it that you do that you use every day at your for your material?
So every comedian has a little bit of a different approach. For example, like Bert Kreischer, he's more of a storyteller, right? Like someone like Jim Gaffigan, he's more of a joke guy, using like external examples. Or Chappelle's more of a story. It really depends on the individual and what works for them. Some are more political, like Bill Hicks, right? Or George Carlin. They have more of a deep point that they're trying to make about religion or something cultural going on. What I do personally is I would say I have a big improv element to what I do, and then I do a lot of jokes. I'm more of a joke guy, but I do alter it based on crowds, situation. So I fold it in with the jokes, and I do some stories and some other longer stuff too. But a lot of it is like I'm more of a joke kind of person, and I'm a writer, so I have a lot of stuff planned, but it varies a lot. Like no two shows are really the same for me exactly. I have certain sets that if it's like a bigger set that like okay, these are my A jokes that I'll probably try to hit some of them. But it can go off the rails sometimes because sometimes I go off the rails and not in a bad way. It's sometimes better than anything in the moment because I'll go off the joke, off the crowd, off the situation because that's how comedy is. I don't know. Some comedians are really we call them like there's nothing wrong with that, like telemarketer comedians. Like they have their routine, they go up there, and it's basically the same every night, and it's just boom, 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 boom. This is what I'm doing. I'm not. I'm a little more of the there's an aspect of that. I do have the material, but I'm a little more of the improv, off the cuff,
Yeah,
mixed
you're
in with,
you're like
so that's
you're
my thing, I think.
a free flowing rapper throwing spitting bars.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. I see you on underground Vice, with the big labels. I get you. That makes sense.
Exactly. Exactly. Like you could see the drop, or you like if you heard something out of Tony Touch. You remember Tony Touch?
Hmm.
Or no? The mixtapes that he would drop
I
because they
know
would
the
do.
name. I know the name.
Yeah, so check out his mixtapes. A great DJ, and he would mix in with like all these, Wu Tang and all these people, but it would be like underground, and it would be different freestyle things they would do, and he put in different beats and mix them all together. But it wasn't just, what you saw
Yep,
on, you know.
I get you. I get you, man. I'll tell you what. Let me ask you. Are you enjoying what you do, or do you see yourself doing that for the rest of the time that you got going on here in Alabama, or is it something just kind of you're dabbling in?
No, I love doing this. This is a passion. This stuff. Otherwise, I would do something else. because I'm so compelled with this stuff. This is like my if you want to go in biblical terms, like my calling to do this craziness, because once I got caught up in it, it was just it's like you feel compelled. I don't know if you have that with the military. You're like, I want to pick up an AK-47 and go, and rock it, or
Which,
no,
which,
you
it's
know,
we don't even carry AKs, weirdo. It's an M16.
M16. See, I know I'm ignorant about this stuff. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You're fine. You're fine.
But do you carry it on the base and stuff? Do you carry it when you're no, or
No,
just
no,
yeah?
no, no. That's only specific jobs that if you're like protecting the base, then yes.
Got you.
But
We
like
got
if
guns
we're
down here, but my friend, I got a 22. My friends say it's a lesbian gun. So I won't go. I got a bit about that. I won't do it because it's a little too dirty, probably for this podcast. But um, but yeah, I do. I do carry a gun here. I don't carry it with me, but I have one here. In Alabama, we're allowed to own them. So, but
not in New York or what?
New York, they're really strict. You go to jail, a felony, unless you get that light. It's really hard to get the license and stuff. And my uncle has one, but it's only like in his office, and it's really hard to get.
Yeah.
And just carrying it like on the subway, if you don't have a permit, you can do a year in jail. So yeah,
Wild. I'll tell you what, this is your time to put your little spiel in here for, Matt, what? Nagin or what is it?
Nagin, right? It's a hard one.
Nagin, okay.
Yeah.
Matt Nagin, right?
See,
About your
you
books.
started with it. It's a hard. You think it almost sounds like that word, right?
I,
You're like
I, I was saying it in my head before it came out. Uh,
Nagin.
Nagin, got it. Look, Matt, I'll tell you what. Tell me, tell me what the biggest difference between New York and Alabama is. You got hear it, flow, free flow, hit it.
Free flow, biggest difference. Okay, let's see here. There's so many. A lot of it I don't know is a little off color. So, down here. Well, okay, they have some stereotypes about like Mississippi that the people all have sex with sheep, which isn't true actually. Israel, okay, it's not true because the sheep have standards. What I'm trying to say, it's a very different. New York is very cosmopolitan. People are very hip to art and culture, and it's very fast paced. Here, you can watch paint dry, and people call it like a fun Saturday night. You know what I mean? People are sitting there like riding, like I don't know what's going on, and everything's slow. "Well, how you doing, boy? Like everyone's just real. Yeah, you want to meet your coffee. So I don't even. And the people, it's a different world. I was wearing a Nassau T-shirt, and I got my oil change. The guy's like, "Well, you work for Nassau?" I was like, "Nah, man. I just got the shirt. Yeah, I can't. Well, my cousin wants to work there. Can I send you his resume?" And he was trying to, like network with me because I had a Nassau thing. So that's what you're dealing with down here. But some of the people are really nice, and I'll tell you what I like about it is I got into, even though I'm a Jew, I actually went to church here to learn about went to the Baptist. I saw them baptize the kids in it looked like a whirlpool, but anyway, it was cool. It was a very moving ceremony. They wanted to throw me in there, but I was, we let's wait a little. Let's wait a little. Throwing things isn't always good, with the Holocaust and everything. So, so, so I saw that. I did, and they do this. I don't know if you guys are you Catholic? They do this
What is
with
that?
I don't know. It looks like they got epilepsy or something. They're going, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, when they're doing the
Yeah,
song.
Baptist. Yeah, yeah. They're a little bit
Yeah,
more
they're going, yeah, yeah, yeah.
free flowing. They're a little bit more free flowing. Absolutely.
They feel Jesus through them, like so it's cool. But it was actually so I've learned. You know what's great about it, rather than the is it's nice to be in a different world. Like I'm sure, have you deployed yet to Iraq or Afghanistan?
Afghanistan. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure it was eye opening, even though it's a harsh landscape. I don't know what you've been through, but going to this other world, it gives you some other perspective. And
Yeah.
it might not be as drastic as what you've been through, but Alabama is a little bit of a different world than New York. So at least in the US, right?
No, absolutely. You talk about so you have a small business in books. Yes, you're a small business in itself for being a comedian, and then you talk about real estate. Have you always been doing real estate? Is this kind of offset the expenses because the comedian and the books are not paying for the bills yet?
Right, right, exactly. So yeah, no, I've been doing that the last couple of years and offset the expenses and keep things. The ideal is just do the comedy and the writing, but to make some extra money doing the real estate and keep
What's
bouncing.
your genre and book?
The genre. Okay, I got some of the books. So I got this book, Do Not Feed the Clown. It's a humor book. You can check it out. Just funny, like little parodies about contemporary topics, 34 pieces. And there's some wild stuff in here. Some really interesting. I can tell you about it as well. And then this is my newest book. This is
Yeah, I seen that one.
this is a short story collection, The Book of Outcasts. So, and I got other books in different genres. I'm trying to put out a few more actually in the next year or two that are mostly finished. So I do these book festivals, book signings, and stuff like that. I just did a book signing at a bookstore here. I've got some book fest. I just did two book festivals. One's called Opelika Book Festival, Books by the Bay Festival. And I'm doing this one coming up. So that's how some one of the ways you promote the books. Books aren't huge. I mean, it depends on so far, hugely lucrative, but that's like a passion project for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Are you on Amazon? What is it, Audible?
yeah,
Do you
they're
have,
on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Ingram, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I'm saying if you're in Barnes and Nobles, it's like being a Target. You're fine. You're gonna make it. You know what I mean?
Guess so, but I don't know how many are on the shelf. They're really a lot of them. They can order them or something from their system, but I'm
You might
also
as
no one here reads. You know how it is. So
yeah, they just scroll. They scroll.
you know what I mean. So the people here, they're hooked on chronic and hooked on phonics. You know what I'm talking about. So but I'm trying. See, I got a little laugh. I like that
That's good.
military. You gotta laugh at
Sure.
stuff. You gotta laugh at stuff. That's what's important. Now, if you come to my show, I'm gonna be honest with you. I got a lot of stuff that I don't know would be appropriate on this podcast. Dirtier, that's
Yeah,
my,
yeah, yeah.
a lot of sex and dirty and filth. And I don't want to get you fired from the military, 21 minutes in. But
Sure.
you would see some wild stuff that I'd be talking about. Yeah,
Oh, so
so
you got a filter right now. I appreciate you. I appreciate that very
Yeah, I
much.
gotta clean it up here. We're a professional podcast. I try to keep it cleaner what I put on the internet to a degree because a lot of these sites they don't even let you put a lot of the stuff. They ban you and whatnot. But people
What's
enjoy
up?
it in real live environments. It's just how it is
Yeah,
nowadays.
what's up with the? I seen that you're starting to put. Oh my stupid lights! 1 second. What's with the? You started doing interviews. What's going on there?
Interviews. Which interviews are we talking
You
about? Sorry.
started asking about just random interviews, random people.
Right, 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 right. So I sometimes I did that last summer. I just interviewed some people on the street about different topics, about aliens, whether they think the aliens are here. Because I want to know from you, but I guess you won't be able to tell me if you guys are working with the aliens in the Pentagon. Because the stuff I watch, you guys are genetically re-engineering those alien crafts, and you got them. That's how you get those F-22s or whatever that you got going on.
Oh
Don't
shoot!
know if there's a dude in the Pentagon, like a little green, like controlling everything. I don't know, but that's the kind of I ask about random. It's called random questions. So I just ask people on a topic, random questions, just on the street, and see how they react. I did one about cancel culture. Did one about body image issues, like the people like because now they got the Victoria's Secret models that are like different styles, like the bigger models, or do they like that, or they like the skinny old school models? So the ones that
What did the survey say?
I mean, different people had different responses. Some women are like, "Oh well, everybody, we should beautiful, empowered woman, no matter their size and stuff like that." Someone's saying, and others are like, "No, hide that thing away. Don't be walking around with a big belly." This guy's going like, "That's disgusting. Put away your disgusting things." So you heard different points of view on that.
General, what was the average? More to this side or more to this side?
I think it was almost 50-50. I'm going to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, because a lot of women asked, but on the men, definitely they prefer this. But the women are like body positive. We should embrace. But yeah, if you ask the men, there wasn't that many men that were like, in my opinion, that wanted the plus size model. I don't know. That's not that there's anything wrong with being plus size, but if I
No,
was
no,
to
of course.
buy lingerie, also the fabric, it's a lot more fabric, so they charge you more. You know what I mean? I like the I like the skinny one, right? You get a discount, and
They're all the same price. Do you charge more for XXXL? I don't know.
I
That's
think
a
they
good
do.
question.
I
I
think
think
they
they
do.
do.
My girlfriend kept wanting, so wow. And also, she ran up my tab, bro. Like that's why you know what I'm saying. When they're big, oh man, the main courses and the desserts and the appetizer.
But
I can start taking her to the Golden Corral buffet just to sort of go. She's just, you know what I'm talking.
no,
I
I
was like,
don't. I don't
you
have.
want another dessert? I'm like, you don't really need three desserts. Like I hate it to be like that, but two is enough. I mean,
Oh shoot. Oh, that's funny. Bro, I'll tell you what, thanks for coming on, man. I know your time's precious. You're a busy man. You're trying to make yourself famous. I'm all for it. I got you. I got your back. This time to put your plug in. You got a couple minutes left here. Put the plug in for Nagin. Nagin?
Nate,
Nagin. God darn it. I'm gonna get it eventually. I'm gonna get it eventually. This is your plug, dog. You got this is your floor. The last couple minutes. Hit it. Where can they reach you at? If they want to reach you, if they want to know more about you, hit it.
okay, perfect. Thanks again for having me on, Israel. It's been a lot of fun. Okay, here's my plug. Come see me June 14th, Impact Book Festival. Okay, I'm doing a 1 hour lecture on humor writing. I'm doing a book signing. Okay, then June 17th, June 18th, June 19th, I will be at Tropicana Casino in Atlantic City, Firewater Saloon downstairs, right across from the Hooters. All right, you get a 2-for-1 special. Bam. And then June 20th at Resorts Casino in Atlantic City. They got a nice theater there. I forgot the name of it, but you can check me out at mattnagin.com. Nagin. I got all my shows there. I got a bunch of shows coming up in New York after that. Check me out. I'll be all over the city and doing book festivals. And if you don't mind, check out my books. This is a really funny book. Do Not Feed the Clown. It's got great reviews on Amazon. You can check it out by Matt Nagin. No, Nagin. And this one. These are my last two. The Book of Outcasts. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it, Israel. And thank you for your service and all you're doing to keep nut jobs like me safe so I can tell my little jokes and have some fun.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Spit Talk, pulling the pits and the pins with your host, Gunny G and Matt Nagin. Nagin.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Bad memory. We're service members, help service members, and just to have some fun. Let us know how we're doing. Any social media platform, just like only on X and YouTube, Rumble. Let us know how we're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, me and Matt, we're out. I'll talk to you later, sir. My kind sir, I'm gonna need something from you after. But if you need anything from me, you let me know. All right, homie. I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, bye.
Stand by, contact. Ceasefire. Stand by, contact, contact. Ceasefire.
Pit Talk is a podcast featuring active service members who discuss their thoughts and opinions on various issues surrounding military life, current events, and history. The statements heard here are the opinions of its members and guests. These do not necessarily reflect the views of the Department of Defense and are not endorsed or sponsored in any way. Listener, viewer discretion advised.